Hello, y'all. Welcome back or welcome to one of my videos. My name is the Flower Child Tarot or Kindle Joy. And if you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video and I hope you enjoy it. So in today's video, we will be focusing on the question, what was I in my past life? We have 6 options here, which I'm going to kind of move over so you can see this option right here. So we have 6 options and I will show you them. Just let me get them all in frame because this is something I struggle with, is getting things in frame. Anyway. So I have 6 options here, and these are all sorted out by stones. So this is the first option I have, second option, third option, fourth option, fifth option, and sixth option. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to, take a deep breath, and pick out your options. We'll be starting off with option number 1. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video if you need to. We will get started. Okay. Option number 1. What were you in the past life? So we have the 8 of Swords. We have the Star, the Ace of Autumn, Ego in reversed, Queen of Summer in reversed, 7 of Winter. We have Food and Hunger in reverse, Spirituality and Religion, Angels in reverse. We have Infinite Supply, Sorceress, the Arts, Envy, Patience, and Failure in reverse. Okay, what am I seeing here? There's so many cards that I decided to choose for this reading. So, I guess we'll start off with the tarot cards. They're usually the best indicators. Alright, so we have the Ace of Autumn, and we have the 8 of Winter, or the 8 of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles, or the Ace of Autumn. So, the Ace of Autumn talks about a windfall of money, advice, or assistance from others, a very successful project, and a happy change in your career. Okay, this is definitely showing me you may have come from a family of power and wealth during this time. You were probably a successful businesswoman or man. I'm getting more of a masculine energy here, so you're probably a male in your past life. I'm seeing dark hair, light skin. So what I'm seeing is you were definitely someone who was extremely successful in your past life, and I believe that you're probably just successful in this life, but you came from a family that was high in society, of high class and a lot of money. So 8 of Winter. You have what it takes if only you believe in yourself, thinking you're powerless when you're not. A lack of self-confidence. You keep getting... Okay. And we also have Ego in reverse. So, definitely I can see that this youth could have been in an abusive relationship with a father. I'm seeing a father figure here. And I'm seeing that this energy is carried out into this life. I feel like you may have a rocky relationship with your dad. So what I'm seeing here is that the Ego in reverse... Sorry, not Ace of Autumn. Sorry. An Ego in reverse and the 8 of Winter. This is showing me for sure you had some self-confident issues. The father figure in this life could have said, you're useless, you'll never be able to achieve, you'll never be able to be big. I feel like you had a dream, and he definitely downplayed your dream. He said he degraded it. He said, it's not worth to try, it's just not worth it. And you lacked self-confidence in that life because of it. And I feel like you may have ended up in a job you weren't happy in, and every day it was like a chore, a task. And I feel like a job should be something you enjoy, something you look forward to going to every single day, although it may be something you have to do to be able to support yourself and others. You should enjoy your job. And it was something you hear. I feel like you guys could have had a very famous, a very infamous family business. and he wanted you to, be born into the business. You were born into the business as a working man, and you were like, I actually have a dream, Dad. Like, I want to do something else. I don't want to be a lawyer or a doctor or, a businessman or merchant, whatever it was. I don't want to be that. And that kind of really hurt your feeling. It kind of hurt his feelings. It hurt him a little bit. Then he started taking out that anger of you not wanting to be in the family business on you and your family. And I felt like you thought you were the problem for the abusive tendencies of your father. And I feel like that's carried out into this life as well. Star. Look to the future with hope and optimism. The power of faith to move mountains. Happy changes that bring relief from challenging times. Okay. So we could go off of the description, but we're looking in the past. So what I'm seeing is like this kind of dream state. Like the kind of weird dream state you're in, and if you've ever felt it before, and I can explain it in this way: if you have ever struggled with a bout of depression before, or anything, if you struggle from depression, and I felt this feeling before. You're in this weird like dream. You're just detached from reality. You're just kind of in this weird dream state. You know what I'm saying? Like everything kind of has like a haze over it, and it's kind of everything's moving so slowly, and it's like a haze, and you're just, absorbing every little word, and you're just in this weird haze. And I'm getting this kind of odd plummy smelling. I feel like this actually could have been you guys could have been people who sold vegetables and fruits. Maybe you grew plums, and that's why I'm just smelling that in this like sweet meadow grass. And I have no idea how this even correlates, but it was like you were in this dream state this whole time of your life. You kind of had this depression, and you never really felt fulfilled in life because you never really got to do truly what you wanted to do, and it hurt you a lot. You wanted to do something, you wanted to follow your dreams, but you really couldn't, and it hurt you a lot. And I feel like in this life you still have that little bit of regret in you, and you don't follow your dreams because that past life energy is still stuck to you. Okay. Queen of Summer. So I'm seeing that the mother could have been absent in this life, or the mother could have been going through her own situations. I'm going to just show this so you guys can see the picture. Herself. And this usually shows a figure of a woman. It's a feminine energy with obviously the queen. Water and the queen are both very feminine energies. But it shows, usually the queen of cups, or the queen of summer, is usually someone who's supportive, loving, caring, intuitive, comforting. But when we look at this in reverse, it's someone who's manipulative, someone who's manipulating you, someone who is not nurturing, someone who is taking advantage of you. So I feel like with females in your life, you may have had a lot of friends, or your mom even, maybe even in this life, could have been someone who wasn't a very nurturing person. And I feel like you still struggle with that past life energy of not having a nurture, like a really strong female figure in your life. And you may struggle with especially self-love, and that's something that I see here. You don't love yourself. And we have the Seven of Winter. So this really, okay, this shows me that this is definitely someone who I feel like this life could have ended in a tragic event. And that's what I see here. What I do see is someone sitting alone, someone that is scarred, and they're sitting alone. There's someone who, doesn't have good energy. There's someone who sits there alone, and I'm like, feel towards the end of your life, you kind of gave up, and you kind of just sat there in like a cold, dark room, kind of just staring off. Because, like I said, with the Star card here, this usually is a positive card, but I think in this situation, it could have been like that weird dream-like haze when, you're feeling depressed. You have that weird dream-like haze. It's so hard to say, but, that's what I feel like. So, definitely, this could have ended in suicide. It could have ended. It was a very how would I word this? It's very much left an imprint on your energy, and it's some past life baggage that has been carried on throughout all your lives. I don't feel like this is the one right before this one, but definitely did play a big role in your life today. So with angels and spirituality, so you're definitely someone who is very connected to the divine, but we pulled angels in reverse. So I feel like maybe in this life your spirit guides weren't really there. Like, you didn't really know how to contact them. You could have been someone who was quite religious. You actually could have been a pastor or something like that. But you were someone who was connected to spirituality and religion. But what this shows me is that you were oppressed in this life. And, the card usually talks about someone who's connected to religion and spirituality. I don't see that. What I see is someone who is repressed into religion. You're oppressed into being a Christian or Muslim or Jewish and things like that. And you want to be your own, connection. With angels of reverse, you definitely had a rocky relationship with spirituality because you were oppressed at a young age. When you told your family, hey, I don't want to be this religion, they oppressed you and they said that, you can't be this religion. It's not something, here. And I feel like in this life, that same topic comes up usually. Or, you may say, hey, like, I want to be, Wiccan, pagan, I want to be whatever other religion. Your parents like, oh, that's evil and that's awful, and, and things like that. And that could have been, you not being able to spiritually express yourself in that way, if that makes sense. And last but not least, food and hunger in reverse. So this is someone who definitely had plenty of food and plenty of goods. You were someone who probably grew up in a situation that was very good, very good financially situation. So this is someone who had lots of food and lots of, whiskey and liquor and things like that. You're someone who definitely grew up in a privileged home. I see it being very emotionally abusive. And I see, you were getting food and, you were sent out to get educated. But it was definitely very much an abusive, not very good emotionally. So you could have, with envy here, so you could have daddy issues. You could, have problems with your dad or your mom. So I do see you having a quite rocky family situation because there's this envy and you've always been angry at them, but you never really knew, why am I so angry at you? You were just kind of angry at them. There's just this, they may have done something to upset you, but you can't quite shake it off because there's something else bothering you, but you don't know what it is. And I see that maybe both of these parents could have been the same souls in the past life. Patience. You have patience for people, and you feel plenty of patience because you had to have patience in your past life. You didn't get the patience that you needed in your past life. People didn't offer you that patience, and it was something that really did affect you in your past life. And with the failure card here, you almost felt like you failed yourself in this past life. You felt like, even though you were successful, you failed your family, you failed yourself, and that no one really would care about you because you failed yourself and you failed everyone else in your life, and you felt very depressed. And there was this failure, and towards the end of life, you really just, there wasn't, work to keep you occupied. You really couldn't make soulful connections in this life. Everything was bothering you so much, you really couldn't make soulful connections, and that's something that really hurt you. You have the Sorceress card, infinite supply in the arts. So you could have been someone who contributed a lot to the arts. You could have been a poet, you could have been, a musician, you could have been an artist, something like that, but you definitely did contribute, you could have been an actor, someone part of theater, or you may have just contributed a lot to the, arts. You definitely invested a lot of your time and money into the arts because it was something that expressed so much feeling and emotion that you longed in your life, and it's something that you could almost an aid that you could get your emotions out, well, other people could act those emotions for you. Could have been a writer too. Maybe you have I feel like you inherited some kind of gift in the arts, whether it was writing or acting or singing, whatever. Infinite supply definitely shows that you were definitely privileged. You had a lot of supplies, you know, you lived in a nice house, a nice big house, and had plenty of food and things like that available to you. And sorceress. Wow, yeah, this definitely shows oppressed religion here. I'm definitely seeing that your religion may have been oppressed. And that's what I see here. So when we look at a sorceress, I think of something mystical. So you could have been someone with a gift, and it was oppressed at a young age, and it really wasn't able. That gift wasn't able to work throughout that life. You know what I'm saying? So that is what I see. Okay, that was option number 1. Okay. What do I see now? Okay, if you picked this rainbow agate stone or option number 2, this is your card pile. Next, we have option number 3. Then we have option number 4, option number 5, and option number 6. That's just a reminder of where we're at in this reading. So if you picked these cards, this message was meant for you. Relationships, happiness in reverse, acceptance in reverse, independent, peace, blossoming in reverse, trust and faith, health, and blessings. Okay, we'll pull the tarot cards next. Okay. We'll pull the tarot cards before. I kind of need the tarot cards for a clear message. It's hard to read without oracle. You need tarot for specifics. That's what I feel like. Okay. What do I see here? Okay, so someone definitely in this life could have deceived you. For sure. I'm kind of seeing medieval-ish times in here, so you could have been alive in that kind of medieval span of time. So yeah, definitely someone could have deceived you. You actually could have been someone who may have been wanted by the law. You could have been someone who was kind of a trickster, kind of a fool, and, you know, maybe even a little bit of a deceiver. You know, you got what you want, and you weren't fulfilled in life with the 3 of Autumn. You weren't fulfilled in this life. You definitely didn't feel as if you were needed. Hold on, I'm gonna get my water bottle because I'm getting dizzy, which usually means that I need water. Okay, I'm back. I just needed some water. Anyway, so yeah, you definitely could have been deceived in this life. Or perhaps you were the person doing the deceiving. It could be either thing. You know, either sides here. But yeah, you were definitely someone who may have been a little bit of a trickster, may have been someone who deceived. And that's what I see here for sure. You were someone who may have been wanted by the law. 5 of Winners. So yeah, abandonment issues. Someone definitely, I feel like your parents or a loved one could have walked out of your life and they could have abandoned you. And I feel like, sorry, I feel like there may have been something here of abandonment. And I still feel like you have these feelings of abandonment. You feel like when people leave you, you feel like everyone's going to abandon you and leave you. I feel like someone definitely, a loved one, maybe a mom or dad, definitely a feminine energy here, so it could have been your mom, but I'm getting more of, especially with relationships here. I feel like maybe a wife or you lost someone or someone walked out of your life that was a feminine energy. You know, a wife or a girlfriend. And that's what I see here for you, definitely for sure. So you definitely did get abandoned in this life, and I feel like you still have that fear of being abandoned. Okay, the 2 of Autumn. Yeah, so often when I think of, you know, when things come out of this situation, I do think of someone who may have a BPD, borderline personality disorder. Not saying you have it. I do study psychology, You know, I'm planning on it. I read up a lot on psychology, and I'm definitely big about, you know, psychological aspects of things. Anyway, this shows me someone who definitely is, how could I say this? Usually, you know, when someone abandons you that you loved, you can take it out in a ways of, how can I put this? Of breaking laws, manipulation. So that's what I see here. You really enjoyed on what you did. You know, you liked living on the edge. You liked the adrenaline of your job. You know, of being someone who definitely was doing things that were illegal. The moment you loved that adrenaline, the first time you did have this adrenaline, and you wanted to do it again. You wanted to go out and do those things again. You know, I'm seeing someone, like I said, who was very defiant, someone who was rebellious. You were a rebel. People wanted you, you know, out. They didn't like the change. So we have 10 of Cups in reverse. So while you loved adrenaline, you were happy in what you were doing, you weren't truly happy. You weren't happy in real life. You know, you weren't truly happy. You know, you didn't have close connections with your family. You could have definitely disrespected. You could have left your family. You know, you were a free spirit. You wanted that freedom. You know, free spirits are usually good things, but I feel like in this situation, you know, you were someone who was hurt and you didn't really have any, you know, you couldn't really express yourself. You weren't someone who may have been intelligent emotionally. So you did it in these ways, and you didn't have a relationship with your family because you knew that they weren't going to let you back after you know, did all these things, you know. They could have done something like that, and it really hurt your feelings, and that's when you just kind of like, no, I'm not coming back. So with happiness in reverse and acceptance, so you definitely did have some self-love issues. You didn't truly love yourself. You never really felt fully fulfilled. And I feel like you may have gotten caught for whatever you did, and there was something here. You learned your lessons, and you counted your blessings. And I feel like towards the end of your life, you settled down. You know, you got a real job. You know, you reconnected with that family, but you were independent. You didn't need anyone's help, and you didn't want people's help because you felt as if you had these close soul connection relationships that people would just walk away from you. And that is a feeling that, you know, definitely people do feel. If, you know, if you make these connections, people are just going to leave you eventually. There's no effort in doing that. You know, you could have been a heartbreaker. And, yeah, you definitely did have some problems with that. Towards the end of life, you kind of found this inner peace. You know, you could have, I'm seeing you're probably an indigo child with the rebellious things you did. So, you know, you could have been a starseed. That was like your soul origin, a starseed, which is someone who had a life on another planet. And that's something that did happen. That's usually your first life or your soul origin is on another planet, you know? So that's what I see for sure. Okay, so health issues. So if you have mental health issues, or you have, you know, some kind of health issues, they were probably in this life. Like I said, I kind of saw borderline personality disorder. Not saying you have borderline personality disorder, but, you know, you may have it because I kind of saw that kind of disorder there when I thought about it. You know, could have had like a depressive condition here. You know, you may have a physical aspect of health. So trust and faith, towards the end of your life, you really, really did try to reconnect with your loved ones and families. And you had trust, you started connecting with a higher power and a religion, and you had trust, so you definitely did calm down towards the end of your life. But at the beginning of your life, you know, you were a troublemaker. And that's what I see for you. That is what you were in your past life. So we are on option number 3, halfway through. This is a beautiful purple fluorite stone. So here you go. You picked the fluorite stone, the purple fluorite stone. This is what's for you. I keep getting dropping energy. Trust in reverse, success, Abundance in reversed. Start delegating. Mother Earth. Guiding children. Father. Communal living. Egypt. Yeah, wow, I really like this message. This is not a negative message. Like those last two readings, those are a little bit of, negative, depressive messages, but these are different. These are definitely something more positive. Justice card in upright, the Dreamer or the Fool. Four of Summer in reverse, so you were happy in this life. 5, so you were successful in this life. 5 of Autumn in reverse. 9 of Swords in reverse. That's a good sign when we get these usually negative cards in reverse. Good signs. King of Summer. Wow. Okay, so big thing. You are a teacher in this life, for sure. You were a teacher in this life. That is what I'm getting. I feel like you, with children, I pulled the children card. You definitely taught children between the ages of 5 and 8, but you did teach primary or elementary school in this area of time. So that's what I see. So yeah, you were definitely a teacher. So what I'm seeing here is you were someone who was quite successful in your life. You had a lot of abundance. You had a very good, cherishing family life. And with the 9 of Swords in reverse, this is usually, a card about depression and anxiety. No, you were someone who was very happy. You didn't experience those feelings in a past life. You were mature, devoted, and warm-hearted. So you were someone who was very nurturing. You definitely loved your job. You loved teaching. Children loved you. You had this natural ability to teach, and perhaps you still do. I'm getting a feminine energy here, so you could have been a female in your past life. So that's what I'm seeing here. Yes, just a great teacher. You were someone who wanted justice. During this time, we're getting Egypt. I'm getting ancient Egypt. I'm getting old age Egypt. Old age Egypt, which is the pyramid phase of Egypt, especially the pyramids here. This is like the old age Egypt. So you were in I don't remember the spans because I learned this a few years ago, but the spans of that time in Egypt. You can Google it. Just look up old age Egypt. Anyway, so that's what I see here, for sure. The Four of Cups usually talks about someone who's depressed and dazed. Not here. You were someone who's very optimistic. You could see through the haze. I could see you were someone who did not take BS. That's what made you such a good teacher. Like, you could sniff it out. You were someone who definitely wanted justice. So if there were kids being picked on, you wanted justice. You seeked justice. That's what you wanted. That's what you were strived for. You could have taught children who were, going to school for becoming government officials. They seeked out justice. And the Dreamer, you had dreams, you had aspirations, and your dream was to be part of this. Teach. You wanted to teach children, and you wanted to guide them, and you loved them, and you still feel a connection to children till this day. So, Father, you had a very, very deep connection with your father in this past life, and this father is probably your father today. So, as soon as you came out of the womb, you had a relationship with your father, whether it be good or bad. But you did have a healthy relationship with your father in the past life, and sometimes even if you do have a healthy relationship with your father in another life, it may not be in this one, but I do see that this is probably, you probably do have a positive relationship with your father in this life, but you came out of the womb knowing that you knew him from a life before. You had this connection, that you did have a connection with your brother or sister or grandma, grandpa, uncle, cousin, aunt, especially mother. This is someone you definitely loved your dad. Like I said, Egypt card, you are alive in the Egypt era. So you definitely were alive in that area. So, okay, communal living. This shows someone, I feel like towards the beginning of your life, you definitely lived with a community. Communal living, you may have not been the wealthiest. And then you started, teachers were high up on that spectrum of someone who, they had privilege back in the time, not anymore. Teachers aren't paid what they should be paid. anymore. You're dealing with fussy children, but you were definitely, you still lived, even though you made plenty of money, you still lived in communities. You had roommates. You were quite a social person, and you were definitely well known around the community. Yes. You're someone who's independent. Let's start delegating. Definitely extremely independent person. I felt like you could have been someone who may have had a troubled romantic life. You were someone who really, you were an independent woman. You really didn't need a man in your life. And Mother Earth, you were someone who was very in tune to the earth and its patterns. I feel like you could have been incorporated into religion. Definitely worshipped a goddess for sure. Yeah, you definitely worshipped mainly a goddess, and that's what I see here. For sure, but you definitely were in tune to the earth, and I feel like you still are till this day. So, trust and success in reverse. So, someone did break your heart in this life, and you have trust issues in this life. I feel like you have, romantic partners and friends. You really can't trust them. Someone broke your trust in a past life. They broke your heart. That's why you were so independent, and you had the relationship problems because you did love someone, but that person turned on you. Now you have trust issues in this life. A success but upright. Obviously, you were a successful person in this life for sure. And abundance. You were an abundant person in this life for sure. You had lots of abundance coming in at you. All right. Thank you for watching. Option number 3. Yes, not option number 3. That's the card I want. I'm getting dizzy, so I need to drink more water. Okay. What do I see here? Okay, so if you pick the Angelite, or option number 4, if you pick this stone, this is for you. Ace of Summer and Ace of Cups. The Tower in reverse. Sorry, I don't like the Tower in reverse. Okay, 6 of Summer in reverse. Mixed message here. 3 of Summer, or the 3 of Cups. 8 of Spring or 8 of Wands. And the Princess of Spring and upright. Atlantis. Forgiveness. Transportation. Wow, isn't it obvious? They gave me Isis. Or past life. Yeah, we're doing a past life, and yep, we're doing that. Thank you, angels, for that. Inner goddess. Inner wisdom. So say wise woman. Honesty in reverse. Surrender and fear in reverse. Wow. Masculine energy for sure. Masculine energy. But we did get inner goddess here. So I'm getting masculine and feminine energy here. Yeah, for sure, getting masculine and feminine energy. So just whatever you feel the calling to, whether you feel like you're a male in your past life or a female. Gender aside on what you are in this life. So with Atlantis card right here, this definitely shows someone who was alive in this Atlantis era. You could have lived in Atlantis. You could have been someone in that life. Forgiveness. There was someone in this life that you had trouble forgiving, and perhaps there was a friend or a family member in this life that you have problems with. You may have problems connecting to this member. And that's what I see in this family or a friend, and you just have trouble with forgiveness in this life. You may hold grudges really easily because someone you told something in a past life and they worked against you. Transportation. This talks about death due to transportation. So you may have anxiety. Whether you're flying on a plane or in a car or on a boat, you definitely do have anxiety because I feel like you may have passed away on transportation. So, inner wisdom, you were someone who was very wise, an inner goddess. This shows 2 things. You are very, very wise. A wise person and a very creative person. Someone who was very beautiful, and these cards both involve water, so yes, you were probably from Atlantis in your past life. Awaken the goddess within yourself, dance, self-care, and accepting your divinity. Do what you need to do, trust your inner wisdom, and take appropriate action without delay. So yes, someone who is very wise, someone who definitely danced. You are a very artistic person, very artistically inclined. We have a lot of water energy and a lot of fire energy. This is someone who is very artistically inclined, for sure. You could have been a poet, you could have been a dancer, you could have been a writer or an artist. But you are someone who's very, very, very artistically inclined, someone who's very bold, someone who's very out there, someone who, you know, you are a little eccentric in your ways, frugal too. But you are definitely artistic, very much emotionally fulfilled. You could have been, you know, someone who loved to party, and that's what I see here for sure. But there was a hard change in your life, and I feel like you really expressed that through dance and poetry and writing, perhaps music and acting as well, and art. You know, you could have been a painter or whatever, but that's what I see here for sure. And then we have fear, and so this is someone, and we pulled it in reverse, by the way. So someone who's very brave, not afraid. Not afraid to be themselves. Someone who loves the attention, loves the spotlight. And we have honesty. You were a very honest person. You know, it's very hard to find people who are honest. And you were someone who's very honest for a change. And, you know, there wasn't a lot of people that were honest, and people loved that honesty about you. Okay. So this is option number 5, or the clear quartz. So if you picked option number 5, or the clear quartz, this is for you. Okay, lots of fire energy. So 7 of spring, 3 of spring, 7 of summer, 2 of spring in reverse, the lovers in reverse, winter, the 4 of winter in reverse. We have orphan, high priest or priestess. Okay, Greco-Roman. Quiet time, sensitivity, leap of faith, health, indecision, and discipline. Orphan card, yes, you were definitely an orphan in this past life. I feel like perhaps your mom or dad may have passed away in this life. Both of them may be an accident, you know, an incident, or they could have passed away from illness. So yes, you were around in the Roman times for sure. You were someone who was very spiritually inclined, someone who was very intuitive, someone who wasn't afraid to express their feelings. You were probably a high priestess or priest, and that's what I see here for you. You were definitely a high priestess or priest in your past life. You were someone who was very zen, someone who meditated a lot, someone who was a little more to themselves, but you were someone who was very wise. You had this ancient wisdom to you. You were faithful. You were sensitive to other people's needs and relationships and things around you. You were sensitive to the energy around you. So you're someone who was quite intuitive, someone who was quite spiritually inclined, and you had discipline. You know, you knew what's right from wrong. You had an eye and a nose for justice and injustice. You could smell injustice straight out of the bat. Okay! Sorry, that was my dad. So that's what I see here. You were someone who had a nose for justice. You were someone who honored your body, who was very fit, and you had a very, very strong intuition. And I feel like you still have it in this life, but you were someone who was definitely very, 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 very intuitive. You could have been a fire sign, or maybe you're a fire sign in this life, but you definitely did have a lot of fire energy to you, and you were assertive about things. You were confident, but wise at the same time. You know, you would eat a crow when you needed to eat a crow. So, okay, this is option number 6, the last option. 6 of winter, the high priestess, again, an intuitive person. Balance, the sun, okay. 9 of summer, yeah.
I usually come clean stuff up over here.
I will, don't worry.
No, you need to hurry.
I'm hurrying, I'm almost done. Sorry, that was my sister. Mother. Love life. We have persecution, don't back down, go outside. Easy does it, judgment, and freedom. Okay, you were a very intuitive person, someone who definitely was spiritually inclined. I could have been see you being an alchemist, a witch of some sort. I feel like you were alive probably during the witch trials, so Salem witch trials, if you guys know what that is. So you were alive in that dream, you know, that time where people were like, oh, you're a vampire, you're a witch, and they would burn you and sprinkle you with holy water and then set you on fire. You know what I'm talking about? So that's the time you were alive in. Yeah, you were persecuted. I'm thinking Salem witch trials. So perhaps you felt this connection or this true fear from the witch trials, and you felt like this awful feeling from it, like this connection to it, because you were probably in that time where people were killing, you know, because you were someone who was intuitive and probably a witch of some sort. For sure. So don't back down. Yes, so you didn't back down. You didn't deny that you believed in what you believed in. You're persistent on it. You were assertive and you stood strong and firm into your beliefs. Yes, definitely very intuitive, very connected to the earth and its cycles. Yeah. For sure. So with the mother card here, your mother, this mother is probably the mother you had in your past life. So with love life here, yeah, you may have problems in your past life, because I'm feeling in this life with love life, because I feel like someone in your love life may have betrayed you. With the persecution card coming up in love life, I feel like someone could have narked on you that you trusted and you loved and you thought you could tell, you know, him or her everything. Yes. You're someone who was definitely a big manifester. You were someone who manifested a lot. So a lot of spells and rituals I'm seeing for sure here. You were someone, yeah, who definitely attracted a lot of prosperity and abundance through your life through magical thinking and magical ways. Someone who was intuitive. Someone who's very cut to themselves. You know, you knew if you even said anything about what you believed in, you know, people would have burned you on the stake. So you're someone who's very quiet and cut to themselves. Someone who may have isolated themselves almost a little bit because you did not want your worst nightmare to happen, and, you know, sadly it did, and that's what I see. Someone who's quite balanced, too, as well. Alright, y'all, I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, subscribe down below. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers before the end of this year. So if you guys could do that, that'd be amazing. I love y'all so much. I hope you guys have a great day, great night, great afternoon, wherever you're at. Subscribe and hit that like button and tell me if it's resonated down below. Tell me your experiences and everything like that. I'd love to know. I love reading y'all's comments. And like this video too. Alright, I love y'all. Bye.